So some people like one, some people.
I haven't go to Petersburg or to Moscow. I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay. So maybe I should go and I will tell you. Which
I
one.
was in the St. Petersburg and in the Moscow.
Okay. Which one did you like more, Adina?
St. Petersburg.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Should we get into our detective stories? Maybe Nastya will show up later. We'll do our detective stories. Okay. So everybody, get your thinking caps on. Start looking for clues. All right. And I will share my screen. Okay, so we have first some vocabulary, and instead of matching vocabulary with definitions, we're just going to match vocabulary with pictures, okay? So we have 8 different pictures here, and we have 8 different words here. So we need to match the words with the pictures, okay? All right, so the first picture is a man who doesn't want to be seen. So how is he behaving? What word would we use to describe him? Of these 8 words. Does anybody have a guess? Maybe no. Okay, let's keep going. What is this thing that we're looking at? What are we looking with? So there are 2 things in this picture, but I want to know what we're looking with. What is that tool? Does anybody have a guess?
Magnifying glass.
Very good, very good. This one is a magnifying glass. Oops, it's too big, so we'll make it a little bit smaller. Magnifying glass, and we use a magnifying glass to magnify, to make bigger, right? So to magnify means to make bigger. We use a magnifying glass to make something bigger. What are we looking at here? Do you guys know what that's called? It's from your finger.
Yes.
It's a fingerprint, right? Okay, good. This lady is pointing out somebody. She's pointing out, maybe it's a criminal, maybe it was somebody in a crime. What would we call this person? Does anybody know? No guesses? Okay, let's look at the next picture. What is this picture? It's someone had died here, right? And they have this yellow tape. This yellow tape says, the police say, don't walk here. We need evidence, right? We need to look at what's happened here. So, does anybody know which one this one would be?
Crime scene.
Yeah, it's crime scene. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Crime scene. So a scene is just any kind of place, right? And a crime scene is a scene where a crime took place. So someone did something bad here. Right? Good. All right, what about these guys? This guy looks like maybe he's a murderer, and this guy looks like maybe he's a thief. So these guys are criminals, but we have a very special word for criminals. Does anybody know which of the 8 words this one would be? No guesses?
Evidence, maybe.
Evidence is maybe this one here, because we're looking at a bunch of different things, right? We're looking at footprints, we're looking at some tools, and the safe is broken, and we see a little fingerprint. So evidence would go here. Okay. All right. What about this guy? Looks like someone beat him up, right? Took his lunch money and did some mean things to him. What would we call this guy?
The victim.
Yeah, he's a victim, right? Victim. someone beat him up and took his money and ran away with everything, right? So we can call him a victim. Let's make this a little bigger so you guys can read it. Okay. All right. And then this guy, he's saying, I am telling you what I saw. And then this man is writing everything down. So I saw this man run this way, and he had a friend with him. This guy is writing everything down. So do you know what this might be?
Testimony.
Yeah, good, right. So this is testimony. Testimony. I'm telling you what I saw. It was this and this and this. All right, good. So we have 1, 2, 3 words left. And we have suspects, suspicious, and perpetrators left. Should we look these words up and see what they mean? First we have,
Suspect maybe picture 3.
Okay, so suspect. What's the difference between a suspect and a criminal? Can you maybe tell me the difference between a suspect and a criminal?
Maybe.
One we think is the criminal, and one really is the criminal, right? So, so suspect is someone we think maybe did something bad, right? What is this? Подозревать.
Подозрительный подозревать.
Подозревать. Yeah, подозревать. That's a suspect. And then if you don't want anybody to know what you're doing, sometimes you act suspicious.
Подозрительный.
Okay, so which one of these would be suspicious to you? The first one or the fifth one?
First.
Yeah, the first one, right? So this one is trying to hide. He doesn't want anybody to know, but he's acting very suspicious when he does that, right? So sometimes if you want to hide something from your parents, maybe you have some extra candy and you're hiding it from your brother or sister, you act very suspicious, right? I don't have anything, right? I don't have anything. This is very suspicious. Okay, and so that means these guys are perpetrators, right? Perpetrator. And perpetrator is a fancy word which just means criminal, okay? But it's any kind of criminal. Let's see if I can find Russian. Perpetrator. There we go. Преступник.
Преступник.
Преступник. Yeah. So there we go. Some very fancy words for criminals and crime, right? Have you guys heard all of these words before? Or just some of them? Okay, so a lot of them are new. We won't use all of these words, but we'll use some words like testimony today. We'll use words like evidence and victim, and we will use the word suspicious. Suspicious is a very important word today. Okay. All right, so good job on the vocabulary. Now we're going to watch a short little movie about a detective, and the name of this movie is Defective Detective. Defective is a defective, yeah. So.
Дефектный.
Defective, yeah. So he's not very good at being a detective. He's kind of bad at being a detective. So watch this movie, and then we will look at some questions about the movie afterward. Okay? Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Good movie?
Yes.
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 Pretty funny.
I'm a
right?
little bit scared.
A little bit scary, yeah. And pretty funny at the end how
Yes.
there was crime in all of the other apartments, but he picked the wrong one, so not a very
They
good.
eat soup.
Yeah, they ate soup together, so good. Okay, so at the beginning of the story, what was Detective Julian doing? Was he reading a newspaper, watching TV, making tomato soup, or sleeping?
Reading the newspaper.
Yeah, he was reading the newspaper. He's reading about the hero of the city, right? Okay, Detective Julian thought a crime was taking place in the apartment above him. Why did he think that there was a crime upstairs?
Blood fell in his newspaper.
Yeah, good. And what else happened? Well, hold on. What else? He heard the little old lady screaming, right? Ah, why was
Yes.
why? Okay, good. So she heard him screaming. And he also saw these wanted posters. And so he thought, there's probably a criminal upstairs. So it's actually all of these, right? He saw all of these things happen. Good, good. But the little old lady wasn't screaming because there was a criminal upstairs. Why was she screaming?
She saw rat.
Yeah, she saw a rat. Good. So there wasn't a murderer in her apartment, and she didn't yell because her tomato soup was awful or she cut her finger. She saw a little rat. Okay, good. All right, this one is a little bit difficult. Detective Julian was on her balcony and about to go into her apartment, into her kitchen. What made him stop? What made him not go in the kitchen? Was it because he saw the same rat and he's scared of rats? Or was it because he saw blood on the window? Or was it because his neighbor, the little old lady, screamed again? Or is it because he got scared and ran away?
I saw blood on the window.
Okay, but what was the blood really? What did he really see? It wasn't really blood, right?
It's tomato.
Yeah, it's a tomato. Where did the tomato come from?
So yes,
Yeah, the lady was trying to throw it at the rat, right?
to the rest.
Yeah, right. So I think it was somewhere around here, right? She sees the rat and she grabs a tomato. She's gonna throw it, right? She misses, hits the window, scares the detective, so he doesn't go inside. Okay, good. All right, Detective Julian used his gun and accidentally shot his neighbor, or the murderer, or his neighbor's soup pot, or the rat.
See.
Yes, see the neighbor's soup pot. Okay. So when I saw this the first time, I thought, oh, he's going to shoot his neighbor. He should be careful with that gun. But it's okay because she had the pot of soup in front of her, right? And
Yes.
so he shoots the pot of soup. Okay, good. All right, so that's all the questions about this little story. This is a fun little story, right? You can find lots of stuff like this on YouTube if you want to watch. Okay, good. Now we have a new story, detective murder mystery story. Okay, we're going to read the story. We're going to read a lot of dialogue, a lot of talking between the detective and these 5 suspects. Okay, so we will all choose a role. We will all choose one of these suspects to be, or you can be the detective, and the detective has to do a lot of talking. Okay. So this is the scene of the crime, and this is the victim, old Mr. What was his name? Old Mr. William West. And we have testimony. Do you guys remember what testimony is? Blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you what I saw. Blah, 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 blah. Testimony. Okay. So we have testimony from 5 different people, and the detective will ask questions to these 5 different people. Okay.
I
All
think
right.
you maybe I think you maybe woman.
Okay. All right. So you already have a suspect in mind, huh? All right, let's listen to the stories and then maybe we can figure it out together, okay?
Okay.
So we have a rich man named William West, and he has been murdered in his home in London last Tuesday afternoon. The police were called immediately to the scene, and Detective Julian, or Defective Detective, was given the case. He found that 5 other people were at Mr. West's home at the time of his murder. Those people were his grandson, Billy West, his wife, Sally West, John the gardener, Amelia the cook, and Mario the driver, okay? The detective asked each of these suspects to give their statements, follow along with the interviews, solve the mystery, okay? Do I have any volunteers for the detective? Does anybody want to be the detective? Do I have to flip a coin? Do I have any volunteers for any of the suspects? You can pick any suspect you want, or you can pick the detective. Okay. So if you volunteer first, then you get to choose. And if you don't volunteer, then I will just give you one and maybe you won't like it, right? Okay, so let's see. Who wants to be his wife, Mrs. Sally West? Okay, Jane, you will be Mrs. Sally West. Okay, good. Who wants to be Mr. Bill West? Karel, do you want to be Mr. Bill West?
Sure, why not?
Okay, all right. And who wants to be Mr. Mario Gatti? He's an Italian, Mario Gatti. I will be Mario Gatti, okay?
Okay.
Can I be Amelia Locke?
Okay, sure. You want, sorry, which one did you want? Amelia Locke?
Amelia Locke, yes.
Okay, okay, good. Do you like cooking food?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a perfect role because she's a cook. Okay, that leaves Uliana and Lisa. One of you has to be the detective. Lisa, do you want to be the detective?
Yes.
Okay, Lisa, you're the detective. And that means, Uliana, you are Mr. John Graham. But we can call you Mrs. Joanna Graham if you want. So that way you're a girl. Okay? Okay. So everybody knows their roles?
Yes.
Everybody knows who they are?
Yes.
Okay. Here is the first interview. The first interview is with Mrs. Sally West. All right, so Jane, you can start us off, and
Okay.
Lisa, you follow along, okay?
Hello. Okay. Hello, Detective John. Thank you for coming so quickly.
And the detective says, Lisa?
Hello, Mrs. West. Can you tell me what you were doing before your husband was killed?
I was sitting in front of the window in the living room. I just sat down to do a little bit of reading.
Reading? According to your doctor, you have problems with your eyesight. Is that correct?
Yes, but I have a pair of reading glasses that help me with that. I keep them right off the table near the living room window.
When was the last time you talked to your husband?
A few moments before he was murdered, I was talking to him about your weekend plans. He just came home from the gym, so he said he was going to have a shower. After that, we could talk more.
Did he act nervous or strange in any way?
Not at all.
I see. What happened then?
I went into the kitchen and asked Camilla to make some coffee for me. I usually have coffee while I read.
Read, yeah, good.
When I walked into the living room, just as I sat down and opened the magazine I had him scream. That's when it happened.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. West. That's all the questions I have for you now.
Okay, good job, guys. So, kind of suspicious, very suspicious, or a little bit suspicious? Keep it in mind, okay? All right, now we have an interview with Mario Gatti. Okay, so Detective Lisa, you start.
Hello, Mr. Getty. Thank you for coming in.
Please call me Mario. It's no problem at all. It's really a shame what happened to Mr. West. My heart breaks for poor Mrs. West.
Yes, it's terrible. So then, Mary, can you tell me where you Tuesday afternoon?
Yes, I picked up Mr. West from the gym and brought him to his home. I took him there to the gym earlier that day as he was scheduled to play a few rounds of racquetball with his good friend, Mr. West.
Right. So you were at his home when he was killed, correct?
Actually, no. I wish I were there. Maybe I could have done something to stop the killer.
Where were you then?
Amelia, Mrs. Law, or Miss Law, she asked me to pick up a few things from the market for dinner. I'd do anything she asks. She's such a sweet girl. Sometimes I sit and listen to her talk about her recipes.
Enough about Mrs. Locke.
Right, anyway, I left almost immediately after dropping Mr. West off at home. It took me quite some time. The bad weather that afternoon made a lot of traffic in town, and it was slow going.
Okay, I have everything I need for now. I'll let you know if I have any other questions.
Sure thing, detective. Good luck. All right. Now we have Mrs. Joanna Graham, played by Uliana. This will be your interview. Okay. All right, detective.
Hello, Mr. Graham. Thanks for coming in to answer some questions. Where were you when Mr. West was killed?
It's no buffer at all. I was in the garden as usual.
Well, what were you doing in the garden?
I was watering Mr. West's prize flowers. Mr. West loved the flower garden behind the house very much. Even thought I do all the work. He told me to take special care of them.
Did you see anyone suspicious that day?
No, sir, I can't say what I have.
Well, did you see Mr. West at all that day?
No, I didn't even go into the house. Mr. and Mrs. West often get upset at me if I track mud into the house. Last time I did that way, threatened to fire me.
Don't you live there at the estate?
Yes, but I live in the guest house with the driver, Mario. He's such a weird guy. He always goes on and on about how great Emily is. I wish he'd keep quiet about her.
Okay, Mr. Graham, I'll call you if I need anything else.
Okay. Very good, guys. Okay, so right here we have a phrase, even though, okay? So I was watering Mr. West's prize flowers. Mr. West loved the flower garden behind the house very much, even though I do all the work. So you use this when you want to point out another fact, right? Good. Are there any words that you guys don't know? How about what does it mean to track mud into the house?
I don't know.
You don't know? It means you have mud on your shoes and you walk into the house and you make a little track behind you so people can see where you are. So to track mud into the house, that makes your parents very upset, right? What are some other things you can track into the house? Maybe in the winter, you get this stuff on your shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, snow, right? So sometimes you can track snow into the house.
Yes.
Or
What is the weird guy?
which one?
Weird.
Oh, a weird guy, strange, yeah. Weird guy. Странный,
Странный.
yeah. So,
Okay.
Uliana thinks that I'm strange. Right, good. How about an estate? You guys know this word, estate? It's a big property, like it's more than one house. It's a big place.
Имущество.
Yes, имущество. Good. Okay. Good. All right. Any other questions? How suspicious is he?
Maybe.
Maybe a little bit. All right. Good. All right. So this is the interview with Miss Amelia Locke, played by Arina, and the detective Lisa.
Hello, Mrs. Locke. Thanks for coming.
Miss Locke.
Hi.
Miss Locke.
Hi, detective. Anything I can do to help?
Can you tell me what you were doing Tuesday afternoon?
I was in the kitchen cleaning up after lunch and I made a list of things I needed for dinner that evening. After
Mr.
Mr. West arrived home, I gave my list to Mario, the driver, and sent him out to get everything.
I see. What time was that?
It was around 1:30 in the afternoon.
That's perfect. Good. In the afternoon. Good. Good job. Cool.
Shortly after Mario left, Mrs. West came into the kitchen and asked me to prepare some coffee for her.
What did you do after you prepared the coffee?
I didn't actually finish making the coffee. I heard Mr. West scream after I started on it. I ran to see what the problem was and saw Billy in front of the bathroom. He looked very nervous.
Okay, thanks, Amelia. I will question Billy about the right away.
Okay. Good. Good job. All right. Any weird words there? Any hard words there? What does it mean to be nervous? Nervy.
Нервный.
Oh. A little bit maybe scared, a little bit worried, right? Good. All right. And we have one final interview with Mr. Billy West. Karel, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Detective Lisa, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, Mr. West. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir. Anything you ask.
First, if you don't mind my asking,
Mind
my asking, I'd like to know why you're living at your grandparents' estate.
I need some help with the estate and I'm between jobs and the month, so I decided to move in and help them.
And what were you doing Tuesday afternoon?
I was listening to some music in my room for the most part. I usually go for a walk in the afternoon, but it was raining, so I stayed in.
Miss Locke said you were the only person around Mr. West and that you looked nervous.
Yeah, my room is upstairs and closed room to their bathroom. I heard my grandpa come in and I needed to ask him for some money. I managed to talk to him right before he hopped into the shower, but he refused to help me out. I guess I was a little upset about it.
And did you now kill him because of this?
Of course not. I was angry, sure, but I didn't kill him. I just went back to my room and put some music. Watching the rain and listening to music helped me calm down. Then I heard him scream, so I hurried towards the bathroom to see what happened.
What did you want the money for?
I want to start my own business and I came across a good opportunity for that. I doubt that will happen now.
Okay, that's all for now. I might have some questions for you later.
I didn't kill him. You must believe me.
Okay, good job, guys. All right, and special thanks to Lisa for being the detective. That was a lot of reading. Good job. All right, so what are some words that maybe you had some trouble with here? What does it mean to be between jobs at the moment? It means you don't have a job. You had a job maybe 1 month ago, and you have a future job in maybe a month, but you're between the jobs, right? So being between something means being having one on either side of you, right? So there's something between your teeth, right? There's something gross, or this green, or sorry, this green pen is between the pink and black pens, right? So he's between jobs, but that means he doesn't have a job right now, okay? Good. Any other words that are a little strange? How about this? Hopped in the shower. This is a nice little phrase. So to hop means to jump, right? And you can imagine this is a very popular phrase, to hop into the shower, almost like you're a rabbit. All right. And any other weird words?
Business, what mean?
Business.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just any kind of shop or anything. So he wants to start his own business.
Business.
Yeah, business. So he wants to start his own business. And he asked his grandpa for a little bit of money, and his grandpa refused. His grandpa said, no money for you, okay? Okay, good. All right, so we have to sort through the evidence now. We have to look for some other clues. So there are no wrong answers. So you can put whatever you think in here, but I'm very curious. Who do you think is the most suspicious character?
Billy, maybe.
Okay, so you would
Yes,
put
Bill.
you would put Billy first. Okay, good. Maybe who would you put second? And yet there's no wrong answer, okay? You could put any of the characters. You can even put the detective here if you want, but the detective wasn't there. So okay, who do you think was number 2? Jane, who do you think is number 2 most suspicious?
Maybe Sally.
Sally.
She has problem with your eyesight, but she's reading.
Yeah, right. But she has reading glasses, so maybe we can look for some clues there. Uliana, who would you say is the least suspicious? Who would we put in the last place, do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Kirill, who would you put in the last place? Or maybe Arena, who would you put in the last? Would you put in the spot? Who is not suspicious at all that you don't think it's at all.
Maybe me, Amelia.
Okay, of course, Amelia. Good. Okay. So who else is there? John the gardener or Joanna? Where should we put? Should we put John for number 3 or number 4?
3.
3.
Three.
Okay. His name's John, right?
And Mario 4.
Yeah, Mario number 4. Okay, good. Would anybody change any of this? Lisa, would you put Mario as number 1?
Mm,
Or do you like Billy being number 1?
I don't know. Maybe Mario, maybe Billy. I don't know.
Okay, so Billy or Mario or Sally. So you can,
Everything suspicious.
everything's suspicious. Everything's suspicious. Okay, good. We'll work through it. There's one very important clue that we should look for. What are maybe some other pieces of evidence that we should look for? If you were the detective, what would you want to see? Would you look more at the crime scene?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so you would go to the house and you would maybe look in the bathroom a little bit more for some clues. What would you look for?
Mm,
I look for evidence.
Evidence, okay, good. So we'll look for evidence. What kind of evidence? How about or maybe,
Knife or
yeah, good, good. So you would look for the murder weapon. Maybe it's a knife, maybe it's a gun, maybe it's a pen, maybe it's a pipe, right? We don't know. So if we had this would help us a lot, right? What are some other things we could look for?
Fingerprint.
Good, good. Fingerprints. How about some from the other side of your body? What would we call those? Here, I'll roll up.
Maybe clothes.
Yeah, you could look for clothes. What are these called?
footprint.
Yeah, good. Maybe we could look for footprints, right? So fingerprints or footprints. Maybe there was a piece of clothing that got ripped off, right? Clothing. Maybe some hair, right? Anything else? I'll give you a very important clue, okay? This is something that I think we should look for, and that is a weather report, okay? And this will be very important later, okay? So we'll see what happens later. All right, so now we have to work on this timeline. We have lots and lots of different things. What happened first? What happened second? What happened third? What happened fourth? And I did the first one for you. Mr. and Mrs. West threatened to fire John. When did this happen? A long time ago, right?
Yes.
This happened a long time ago. All of the other things happened on the same day, okay? So all the rest of them are what happened on the same day. So let's work on this together. Maybe I'll open a new window. All right, so copy this, a new one. Okay, so what happened first that day? Mr. West was murdered? Probably didn't happen first, right? So let me copy this. Okay. Okay. Why did that happen? Okay. So I'll blank this out and we will move them around when we find them. Okay, so Mr. West went to the gym. That's fairly early, right? So maybe
Yes.
that was second.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll put this one here. All right. Let's see. We have Mario drove Mr. West home. Amelia started making coffee. Mr. and Mrs. West talked about the weekend. John watered the flowers. Amelia.
Mr. and Mrs. West talking about the weekend.
Okay, so maybe that goes here. We'll move it if we need to move it. Okay. All right, and then Billy asked his grandpa for some money. Amelia made a list of groceries for dinner.
Maybe.
Mrs. West
I
asked
think
Amelia.
Mario drove Mr. West home before they talked about the weekend.
Yeah, that's right. So Mario drove Mr. West home before this happened, right? Because Mr. West has to be home in order for them to talk, right? So we'll move this one down and we'll move this one over here. Mario drove Mr. West home. Okay, good. All right, so we have some other things. What happened next? Billy asked his grandpa for money. This one has to be before Mr. West was murdered, right?
Yes.
So we'll put those somewhere over there. Okay.
Amelia started making coffee, maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll put this here, and this one maybe down here. So we're moving these all over the place. Don't write anything down yet, guys. So we're shuffling things around. Okay, let's see. Mrs. West asked Amelia to make some coffee, and then Amelia started making.
Amelia started making coffee.
Yeah, good. Let's see. Mario drove to town to pick up some groceries. That could be here or here. We don't know for sure, right? Could be, oops, could be,
Yeah.
could be right in the middle, yeah? Okay, good.
Yes.
But we need something to happen before that. What do we need to happen before this?
Amelia made a list.
Yeah, Amelia made a list of groceries for dinner.
Yes.
For dinner.
Good. All right, so when did Amelia see Billy in front of the bathroom? Maybe.
Maybe.
Almost in the end.
Would you put it here or would you put it here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, here? Okay. And then, because Billy went to see Mr. West, and
Yeah.
then Amelia saw Billy in front of the bathroom. Okay, so we have John watering the flowers. Where should we put this? We can put it anywhere, right? It doesn't really matter. So let's move all of this stuff.
I think I understood everything.
Do you want to put it here?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, good. Okay.
I understood the whole crime scene.
Sorry?
I understood everything now.
Okay, good, good. All right, so let's put it in this order. This order is pretty good, right? Okay, so if I move this over, that means that number one, Mr. and Mrs. West threatened to fire John. What happened second?
Mr. West went to gym.
Okay, good. So we'll put a 2 there. Oops. What happened third?
Mr. and Mrs. West talked about the weekend.
No, Mario drove Mr. West home.
Oh.
That's fine. Okay, and then Mario drove.
And they talked about the weekend.
Yeah, okay, and then they talked about the weekend. What happened after that?
List.
Yeah, the list.
Yes.
Where's the list? Amelia made a list for groceries. Okay, so that'll be number 5. What happened after that? Billy asked his grandpa.
For money.
Yeah, good, good. What happened after that?
John watered the flowers.
Good, maybe, we don't know. So this one is Nate, number 7. Okay. What happened after that?
Mary drove to town to pick up groceries.
Okay, good. And then,
Mrs. West asked Amelia to make some coffee.
okay, good. 9. And then,
And Emily started making
coffee.
okay, good. And then,
Mr. West was murdered.
okay, good. Right, number 11.
Amelia saw Billy in front of the bathroom.
Okay, actually, Billy went to see what happened first.
Yes.
And then Amelia went to see. Okay, good. All right, so we have a timeline and we have some things to look for. Okay, so let's see. I will show you this 2 pieces of evidence that are fairly important. Okay, first I will show you the weather report, and then I will show you the murder weapon. And then we'll see who did it, okay? So here is the weather report. So here's a newspaper from that day. And you could see that day what was going on.
today.
What was the,
Went to rain.
yeah, lots of rain and heavy rain. Anything else?
13
Defective.
Yeah,
I know.
heavy rain.
You know who did it, Cadell?
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else know who did it? Okay, I will, before I show you the murder weapon, I want to know, Kirill, who do you think? Who,
It's gardener.
it's the gardener. Why do you think it's the gardener?
If there was rain, why did he water flowers?
That's very good. All right, good job. So I'll show you the murder weapon. Here's the murder weapon, some garden shears, right? But a very good question. Why are you watering the flowers if it's raining, right? And so who said it was raining? There were lots of people who said that it was raining. Do you remember? Which suspect said that it was raining? I said it was raining, right, Mario?
Yes.
I said,
Mrs. Sally.
yeah,
This.
yeah,
And,
Mrs. Sally West.
Yes.
Bill.
And Billy, right? He likes listening to music and watching the rain, right? So I said there was bad weather because of the traffic. Sally, Mrs. West, she said that she likes to sit in front of the window.
Yes. Mm,
And let's see.
yes.
Did she say it was raining? Where did she say it was raining?
Maybe.
I was sitting in front of the window in front of the living room, do a bit of reading. Oh, maybe she didn't say it was raining. Okay. Yeah, maybe she didn't say anything about the rain, but Mario did. And Billy did, right? So 2 people said that it was raining. And so one thing that would be good to get is a weather report. And that's why I showed you this, because this is a very important piece of evidence. Also, does anybody remember, if I do this, what day did the murder take place?
Mm,
You can look on the sheet. What day did the murder take place?
Tuesday.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday, right? So if we look here, it was last Tuesday afternoon. And so that was another thing that was supposed to be important, right? So this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday, Thursday. Good, good job, Kirill. Good job to all of you. You did really good. You played your parts very well. And especially Lisa for doing the part of the detective. That was a lot of reading. So Good job. Okay. How do you like this kind of lesson?
Yes.
Yes.
You like it a lot? Okay, good. I'll try to find more of them like this. Okay. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Do you guys have any questions at all?
No.
No.
No? Okay. Do you have any suggestions for next week's lesson? Which kind of lesson is your favorite? This mystery kind or the kind where we play games?
Play
Or
games.
you want to play games?
Okay.
Everywhere.
All of them.
I like when we guess who am I
Okay.
Yes.
and these detective stories.
Okay. So I'll maybe do a little bit more of that. Okay, and then let's see, what else do I have? I was thinking of, I have another game that we can play. It's about habits. We did it with Group D, and it's good for practicing habits. So how often do you do this? How often do you do that? We have a fun little game we can play with that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. Good job, guys. And if there's nothing else, then I will let you go. You're free. Have a good week, and I will see you next Thursday. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Goodbye.
bye, everybody.
Goodbye.